Birthday. You already know. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Marcus Militia proudly brings to you its undisputed, undefeated heavyweight champion of the fail. Cause it's ya boy, Marcus Alford, aka Heel Marcus, aka Half Trash, Half Amazing, aka Mr. No 1v1, aka Body McBotterson, aka worst in the world. Back live again on Twitch. You already know it's my birthday. It's my birthday. That's all I care about. That's all I care about. It's my birthday. 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 My birthday. What my birthday. My birthday. My birthday. My birthday. What breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Now drop, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. It's my birthday, what? Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, baby. Oh man, it feels good. What's up, guys? We are back here, another episode, and we're live, and it is the birthday show. The birthday show. The birthday show. It's my birthday show. We actually got a special treat. KyleLiterally is coming through in a little bit to talk sports with us. Obviously, we got some stuff to talk about. But it's that birthday kick. So, just waiting a little bit. We're going to have him come through first. Got Fall Guys and just chatting, basically. I'm not trying to do too much craziness. Got a lot of stuff planned for this weekend. We got some extremely long streams. We're gonna do some charity, basically some fundraising on all these streams. So we're gonna do a super long stream tomorrow. Hope y'all are ready for it. I think I'm ready for it, but I'm gonna be ready for it. Oh, well. All right, so I'm just waiting on Kyle to come through. When he comes through, we're gonna get this thing popping. But before we do all that, I gotta drop a sponsorship. Today's sponsor is Mr. Dripley's Ice Cream. Who says ice cream has to be cold? Mr. Dripley's Ice Cream. Feels good, man. Another birthday. And I'll be honest. I will be honest with you guys. Birthdays aren't something I'm really excited about. My own birthday. There's two different Marcus. Basically, you have the online Marcus, and then you have Marcus at home. Marcus at home does not do anything. He doesn't care. He doesn't have the energy. He doesn't celebrate his birthday like he celebrates. But Marcus online, it's all energy, baby. We gotta celebrate this thing. It's like two different worlds. And I love this world because this world is I get to celebrate it with you guys. Shout out to everybody that's watching this on YouTube later on. I appreciate y'all. Or any other social network you are following me on. Thank you for watching this celebration that is us. And Kyle is in the waiting room right now. So we're definitely going to have Kyle literally in the building momentarily. There he is.
I'm here.
Whoa. Yes, we are, sir. Let's get you over. Let's go over to the section right now so we see Kyle literally pop up on the screen.
Oh, we're live.
We are live,
Yay.
sir.
Awesome.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kyle literally is in the building.
Also, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Negro. Happy birthday, Negro. Happy birthday, MC.
That's how you do it. That's how you do it, ladies and gentlemen. That's how you start it off.
Old heads unite.
Old heads uniting in these streets. What's good, sir? How are you feeling?
I am close to spectacular, if not fine by far.
Hey! Victoria. Hey, big shout out to KyleLiterally. Thank you for
33 months. You know, in this time, you could have had like 2.5 kids, yo. All by yourself. It's a possibility. You never know.
God. I feel like every time we're doing this, it's always right around the resub time. And it's just like, whoop.
It is. But you know what? All the people watching, it is always resub time. And I implore you to subscribe to the hardest working man on twitch.tv, Marcus, the Marcus Alford.
I thought you were talking about T-Pain for a second. I was like,
That too. I mean, T-Pain's second. I mean, it's pretty close.
Did you see the video I sent you? Of his
no,
intro?
You send me so many videos. And I'm like, yo, I gotta sit down and process all the shit you send me. I'm like, am I gonna get blown away right now by this?
Intro to Twitch, like T-Pain's Twitch intro.
Don't take your post lightly.
It rocks. Like I'm like, yo, I'll never be that good. Like he raps the entire intro. I'm like, all right, you know what, sir? You got it. I don't even like music like that anymore. I don't even care for streaming now because you made me just want to go home and like reevaluate my life. Like I was like, yo,
real talk.
Never felt so bad. I was like, maybe I should stop. I'm like looking at my intro, like, how depressing are you now? But yeah, that man can put on a show. I mean, kudos to T-Pain. But we are here to talk about sports. And
sports?
I know the two topics that we need to talk about, we're gonna save for later. Because they'll definitely get us they'll definitely get us caught up for like an hour alone.
I need us to pause real quick though, because I just noticed that happy and birthday are two different topics. Way to milk the cow there.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? Screw it. I was like, we're only doing 4 topics, so I was like, there's no way I'm gonna sit there and just like leave it blank. So I was like, yeah, just happy birthday.
Yep. And then Marcus is the last one, so it's 3. It's okay.
You got
Plus
hey.
10. Plus 10.
Thank you. I try here. I'm
You
trying,
do.
guys. I'm
you do
trying.
a great job.
But yeah, I know. Talking about the Sixers and their collapse and all the other pieces and whatnot is something that we will definitely deep dive into. But I want to start it off with the Eastern Conference Finals because they're still going on. Apparently, I'm not watching that crap anymore, but it is still a
Two
thing.
of your favorite teams are playing right now. Why aren't you watching?
Like, talk about the most dislike of this fight. I'm like, yo, I don't want neither to win. I don't like the Clippers that much anymore. So I'm like, yo, go Phoenix. Like, I guess. Like,
yeah.
like, yeah.
I don't know, man.
I've never been so disgusted at so much stuff.
I really want the Atlanta Hawks to win the East.
You know what?
I really do.
All my hatred aside, I
really
don't
like
hate
this
it.
team.
I don't hate
help it. I
don't
this
hate
team.
it. I don't hate it. I
you
actually like it. Like,
and my thing is right now, like, this Atlanta Hawks team reminds me so much of the 2000-2001.
Yeah.
This team does not have diddly squat on their squad, but somehow they're here, and Trae Young is carrying them, and I wish the Sixers had that much heart. We're not going to talk about the Sixers yet, but I'm just saying I have a little envy in that department.
Yeah. They're a shooting team, and if they live and die by the 3 at times, and if they're dying by the 3, Trae Young can find a way to pull them out of the depths of losing to get a win. And it's weird because Drew Holiday is supposed to be this guy that's supposed to be a big defensive presence, and I just don't want to see Drew Holiday. He's such a good person. I don't want to see him getting flamed for poor defense, especially because Giannis got to pass all this whole year. Like, Giannis can't even guard Trae Young at all, so it wouldn't even make sense to even put him over there. It'd be kind of just disrespecting Trae Young even more and making Giannis look even worse.
It's disrespecting the game at that point.
Yeah,
that's just not how. Don't do it.
But I'll be damned if he's gonna sit there and not guard anybody. I don't know. Atlanta's already up 1-0. I think their game's tonight, game 2.
Night 8:30.
Yep. And I feel like they'll go 6 or 7 games. I don't think Milwaukee's gonna lose tonight. It's tough.
You don't sound particularly confident in that.
I'm not. To be honest with you, I'm not confident in either one because I'd rather wish a tie, or for all of them to just get disqualified somehow and make the Phoenix and Atlanta game the finals. But no, I don't have a lot of faith in the Bucks because they're a team that can be really good or really bad, and you're like, which Bucks team's gonna show up? And
you never know what you're going to get with them.
You never know. And unless they find an answer for Trae Young, who dropped 48 in game 1, like,
there is no answer for Trae Young. Trae Young is going to get hit.
But see, that's the thing. If Trae Young is getting his, that means he's also driving through a lane. And he's making other people suffer or eat by alley-oops and stuff like that too. So, and if they're collapsing on him, that means you have Herder, Bogdanovich. You've got shooters all around waiting, Gallinari waiting to hit those threes for Trae Young. So it's like you got to outscore and you got to stop everybody else around Trae Young, and it's super hard to do. It's not easy. But I don't think Milwaukee's
and it's such a variable thing too, because I feel like you kind of get one or the other. Either Trae Young is going to go off and 40 or 50 points.
Yeah.
Or he's going to have like maybe 25, but like a ton of assists. So it's just like, you really can't beat them. You just have to either outscore them, get stops if you can, make sure you capitalize off of them. This Hawks team is really,
yeah.
I don't think this is not. This is a Cinderella story.
It's a Cinderella story.
It's amazing.
But they're not the good guys in the movie. They are actually mean people. Like, and it's weird because it's like you never want to hear that. Oh, the bad guy is someone that everyone's rooting for, and now you're like, wow, he is the bad guy that everyone's rooting for. We're kind of screwed here.
This is more like the Cruella story.
Yeah. This is like the Sandlot. Like, those kids were terrible.
It is.
Like, they couldn't. They made all these contraptions just to go get a baseball when they could have just asked. Like,
but I think it's really time to start respecting the Hawks. I think when you look at their record towards the All-Star game, they were dead in the water, right? Even before that.
Yeah, they were dead in the water. They had a coaching mid-change. Like, yeah.
And they've had one of the best records, if not the best, since then. And this is why we have the playoffs, right? This is why I love playing games. Because it's all about who gets hot at the end. That's all it is. It's a marathon. Everybody can start off hot. Like the Sixers did. But if you aren't finishing off in the regular season, the whole thing is just how strong are you finishing? That applies to everything in life, right? If you don't have a strong finish, then you're not going to really finish strong. You know what I mean? It's just, you don't coast through the playoffs in the regular season. This happens every year. See it happen. No one ever coasts, except for the Bulls. And the Bulls.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think Milwaukee's gonna win. I think Milwaukee's gonna take the series, but they're gonna be challenged by this one hard. Atlanta's not gonna quit. Atlanta's not gonna roll over, but I think this is where Atlanta's fairy tale ending ends.
Okay. I think the Hawks are gonna take it in 7.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
This team.
I mean, I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't be surprised.
5 or 6, especially because they won Game 1.
Yeah. Like, I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not gonna be like, oh my god, upset, because right now anybody could win. Like Atlanta didn't. It's not like the first round where you're like, oh, somebody kind of just stumbled into the playoffs. Like, they won 2 series already. They're here. So they're gonna play their heart out. I just think Milwaukee is the stronger team overall. And I think there's no one really stopping Giannis. So I think he's going to go.
I don't feel confident in that though, because
I'm not confident.
Drew had 33, no. and like I feel like the Hawks and the Bucks are kind of similar because they can be very streaky too. I don't know that the Sixers games were a really good sampling of that because Sixers just didn't play much that series, at least towards the last 3 games. But like Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, Giannis, that's a really good.
It's a solid 3.
Three-headed monster. Yeah, yeah, it's a solid 3. But I really do feel like when you take like Hawks, kind of have that with 4 players. You know what I mean? Or maybe 3. I feel like Herter is streaky. Collins is also a little streaky, but when he gets his, he gets his. I think both of those players, and Clint Capella, even though he doesn't really do much.
But they don't really
bring attitudes.
They don't really get off.
And I think that's the
like
edge.
That. They're
right,
averaging.
But like, I don't.
They're averaging around like 10 points and 12 points.
Yeah, right. So that's what I'm saying. But like some games they're going to give you 20 and stuff because they're a 3-point shooting team, and I just don't think that the Bucks have. I think these 2 teams are even. I think when you look at their stat sheets and everything, I think they're pretty even.
Yeah.
And I think the difference is going to be edge and heart in the series, and I think Atlanta has that over the Bucks.
I mean, to be honest,
even though the Bucks
I would
been
hope
here
so.
Before,
I would love it if Atlanta beat the Bucks because it would just make me feel a lot better to see Giannis lose again.
Right. And to know that we lost to the eventual Eastern Conference champions.
I can't take that. I refuse to take that moral victory.
Yeah,
I,
there are
I
no moral
appreciate
victories.
you trying it. I refuse to
Get
take
there
it.
yet.
But yeah, I don't know. I can see either or. I'm picking Milwaukee just off of more playoff experience, I guess. But we'll see. I have no idea.
The
I don't know.
Sixers had more.
I'm mentioning them. It still hurts. But anyway,
I know, but you got to talk through the pain. You know what I mean?
so we'll jump over to the Western Conference Finals.
Can't talk about the Sixers there.
Yeah. We've got the Phoenix Suns taking on the LA Clippers. They are currently what 1-1. Clippers won last night.
Yeah, Clippers won 106-92.
Wait, so it's 2-1.
It's 2-1.
Okay, yeah, that's right. They started in Phoenix. That's right.
Chris Paul played.
Chris Paul did return finally. Kawhi Leonard is still out. They say knee sprain, but let's be honest, it's a torn ACL.
Yeah.
Like, no, he's okay, guys. He's okay. Like, he has a torn ACL. They're gonna try to see how long the swelling will go down. If he can maybe heal a little bit on his own, that maybe he could play a little bit towards the end if they need him. But he's done. He's done. And I'm assuming that his people don't want to say torn ACL, for the simple fact that he has a player option this year. He could opt out and want more money. You lose a little bit of leverage on your contract if you are going into it with a torn ACL. A lot of people are going to say you're pretty much done for next year. You're pretty much done for at least half the year, for the most part. So it's interesting to see how they're going to play this one out. I don't expect him to come back, but that means Paul George has to lead that team. Playoff P.
Which is wild. Right?
AKA Pandemic P.
That would be another great Cinderella.
No.
Paul George caught a lot of slack.
You know why? He earned it. He earned all the slack. You know why? And you know, I felt sympathy before when he had the whole episode when he said that the bubble criticisms were really getting to him mentally. I felt bad. I was like, you know what? I've been slandering this guy a lot, and I felt bad. And you know what erased that? When Kawhi went down, and they had the game on the line to beat the other game, and he had his best outing, and he said, and he basically said, I turned down my skill and my game set once I started joining other superstars. And he said I had to go back to my indie mode just to win these games. So that means you tell me that you are actively turning down your skill level because you are now coasting off of other superstars.
And you could see it.
I know,
right?
you could.
Like, I remember watching Paul George play before he got to the club.
Yeah.
Kind of amazed by how good he was.
Yeah.
Quietly, too, because I don't think a lot of people were really on Paul George at first until, he went to the club.
Yeah, I mean,
but it's also one of those things where, like, that's probably a thing that happens with a lot of these teams, where they just kind of like, all right, I'm going to team up with you, and then just want to chill and coast. Get paid.
It's very true. You don't tell anybody that you have taken your foot off the gas pedal, and then have the nerve to tell everybody you're still an elite player. Like, you can't have it both ways where you can say, yo, I'm still elite, and then not take the class. Like, you gotta still come up there. You still gotta show up to school and, answer a couple questions. Like, you can't just say, just give me the A, and it's gonna pass through. You're not a West Catholic football player.
That's fired.
Woo woo! It's my birthday. I don't care. But
Yeah, it's true.
but yeah, so it's one of those things you have to tell. You have to sit there. Even if you didn't say it, if you never said it, I would have had no problem with it. But once you are telling people that, hey, I've actively chose to take coasting. I'm coasting through this. I am riding the coattails of whatever superstar I am with. I don't trust you anymore. I can't trust you
Right.
as a star player. I can't trust you as somebody I could like rely on. Because I'm like, well, what if Kawhi did come back? You were gonna just sit there and go back to relegating yourself to Scottie Pippen levels? And not even Scottie Pippen levels. I think Scottie would like say, I'm still gonna be the best on the floor if I can. Like you kinda went into like Shaquille O'Neal and like or Miami. Like still you weren't dominating, you were
Right.
there, but you weren't dominating like you really wanted to,
Always forget that was.
right? I almost said Cleveland, but he was really terrible by then.
Oh, right. And he was in Cleveland too. Oh my
He was
god.
in Boston
Wow.
as well. Phoenix. Yeah.
I remember Phoenix.
It
I
was
vaguely remember Boston.
yeah, it was he was in Boston just looking really fat. Oh like Eddie Murphy and the Nutty Professor. Like it
Yeah,
wasn't fun to
he was a
watch.
chunk.
He like, yo, no, you can't do that, sir. You can't do that. So yeah, I'm not a fan of someone telling me on camera, yeah, I have literally chose to not give you 100%. And then you're also telling your teammates, I'm not giving you 100% because that guy is here. I would be kind of upset. I'm like, yo, wait, what? Like, that's like if
Right.
we're all
Yeah.
carrying a table and you sitting here holding it with one arm. I'm like, yo, bro, I got two arms on this table. You barely holding it with one. Some yo, man, y'all gonna move this table or no? Like, I can't rock with that. And I gave him a pass after he said this the whole mental thing about the bubble and everything. I was like, damn, I feel bad. And then you come out here and tell me, yeah, well, I kind of was winging it anyway. I'm like, oh, hell no. Slap me in the face, why don't you? So, I'm not a big Paul George fan of him. But he is in the fine. He is in the
I'm
Eastern.
not big on the Clippers in general either. Just like you.
Not really, no.
Yeah.
I don't care for the Morris twins. Even though they're from Philly, I don't care.
I did not know that.
Huh? I'll pass on them. I don't really need to worry about them. But they are in the They're in the Western Conference Finals. They're going against Devin Booker, Chris Paul, DeAndre Ayton, the Suns. And injury alert: Devin Booker broke his nose in 3 places in Game 2.
Oof.
Game 3, he shows up with a mask, basically ineffective. I don't think he was 100%. He says he was fine. He said the mask was not a problem. I believe the mask and the broken nose is a problem, and I think he should not have played Game 3. As much as he wanted to, I know he wanted to get out there and go out there because Chris Paul was coming back and all that stuff. Take the night off, man. You were already up 2-0. I don't think your teammates would be upset if you said, I need to rest my face. It did break. He had no business being out there, but he did give it a try, so I respect that.
He got 15, 5, and 5, man.
Yeah.
So I mean that's something. It's
Yeah.
not Devin Booker numbers that we're used to, but
Yeah.
it's something. And I don't know if anybody else on that roster was going to step up in his place, which means that he could have just not.
But he lost Cameron Payne as well during Game 3, an ankle sprain. So they were and Chris Paul was out for 2 games already, and he couldn't even be around his team to really practice or anything. So he was definitely a little rusty, or not even. You're not really rusty, but kind of cold. So that's pretty much how the team is going to basically run. If you got Booker hurt, you got Payne hurt, you got Paul coming back after a two game break, basically like 6 games. Maybe like 10 games.
Like I was about to say, which I mean, not for nothing. Didn't they sweep Denver?
Yeah.
So they've been off for a while, and
Yeah.
then he didn't start the first 2 games. So
Yeah.
he had a long time.
and he was quarantined. Like he couldn't even be around the team.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I just felt like that was kind of like that was the Clippers' chance to get one, and it was still close towards the end. Like so they were still making it a game, but the Clippers did take Game 3 at home. They're back home again. I believe tomorrow is the next game. I believe Phoenix is going to take this one. If Kawhi Leonard isn't back, I think Phoenix has this, and I'm assuming it could go 5.
Yeah.
Like the way Phoenix plays, especially when the way they're going, they're hot. Like, and they're not like a streaky hot. They're like just playing hot.
Consistently hot.
Yeah.
They're the best team in the playoffs right now.
Oh, hands down. Hands down. Best team, hands down. Like I really want to give like the Clippers some kind of edge and props. I mean, granted, this is one of the rare times they've got a chance to got a little bit of hope because the Clippers have been basically a non-facting loser for so many years. This is one of their close moments.
They were down in the first round.
Yeah.
And then they almost lost to Dallas.
They've been down 0-2.
Come on, this is crazy.
They've been down 0-2 every game, right?
Yeah.
Every start of the series.
They are not supposed to be here.
Yeah. They keep going, they keep playing, but there's also on the back of Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard's not a quitter. He's a cyborg.
Right.
And he's not here to play. He's gonna bust his butt. And that's exactly what he's been doing. And you guys are torn ACL. And then, you know what? The injuries suck. Because a lot of guys that we wanted to see play didn't get a chance to fully finish the series or finish playoffs. And we didn't get the top guys against the top guys every time. So it's kind of a disappointing move. Because I wanted to see the Nets big three at full health against the actual Milwaukee Bucks. Like,
I guess that would have been cool. That would have been a blowout, though. I really feel like
I wanted to see
the Nets are full strength.
I wanted to see the Clippers. I wanted to see Denver at full health. I wanted to see Utah at full health. Like,
it's funny because the only team that's really been at full health has been the Sixers.
Well, they were, but I mean, had the torn meniscus.
Yep. Torn meniscus, but like that's the only injury for real.
We lost Danny
that
Green.
anybody had, and he still played.
We lost Danny Green too.
All right, so I guess we had a couple. That's fine. That's fine.
I mean, Danny Green, somebody you will forget anyway. He is somebody you will kind of forget.
Danny Green, Kawhi Leonard.
Hey, don't you dare disrespect Danny Green's. We're gonna get to the Sixers.
I love Danny Green. Danny Green's that I love Danny Green. Love his podcast. That's my guy. But
so what's your prediction for the Western Conference Finals?
Phoenix at 5, maybe 6. I think Paul George is going to step up and push them to get another win.
Yeah,
especially if they have another home game coming up tomorrow. So they're going to make it close. I think Phoenix is going to come away with it, make it 3-1.
Yeah,
and I think you're going to see the Clippers really fight for their lives as they have in the other series. But I think they're going to run out of steam and probably lose the Knicks.
Yeah.
But I would
that's
like
what
to
I'm
just get this
thinking
over
too.
with so Phoenix can rest and just take the rest of the year. I want the Phoenix Suns to win a championship.
Yeah. I give Clippers a chance to maybe get 6, but not really. I'm thinking Phoenix in 5 as well. So
you can tell that this is Phoenix's.
Yeah.
You can just tell.
Just the way that they've been moving. Because at first everybody thought, oh well, maybe beating LA was a kind of a fluke because of all the injuries and whatnot. And then they swept Denver, which was not something you thought would see happening. You would think Denver, even though they didn't have Murray, they were gonna at least get a good 5 or 6. They were at least gonna get one win. But the MVP could not get a win in the second round. Must be nice.
Must be.
Yeah. But yeah,
But I mean, listen. if the Sixers played the Suns in the second round,
Yeah.
we too would have been swept.
No.
There's no way we're taking a game from the Phoenix Suns.
Yes, we
No
would.
way. With Chris Paul, no way. Chris Paul would show up Ben Simmons so hard, and that's coming from someone who still supports Ben Simmons.
Yes. No. We would take a couple games from Phoenix. Stop it now.
I'll fire up 2K and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Let me know how that plays out when you do it. Speaking of the Sixers, the next topic here is the Sixers collapse.
Oh boy.
Now we're not going to talk about their point guard at the minute. We're going to talk about the rest of the team.
What point guard?
Their
Sixers have a point guard?
Their point forward. We're not going to talk about him just yet. We're going to talk about the rest of the team and this epic collapse, because this was a collapse. They had no business going to 7 games. This should have been over in 5.
Should have been 5.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, Atlanta took game 1, and I was comfortable with that one for the simple fact they made 19 threes. I was like, that's never going to happen again. I remember saying, I think on here, I was like, they're never going to make 19 threes again. It's not going to happen. Then they didn't do it again. They didn't do it. Their shooting was streaky as hell. They were hoping and praying for threes at some times, and some of their guys were going cold. You had Herder cold one day. You had Bogdanovich super cold for a minute. Then he got hurt. Then you had Gallinari, who showed up one game and then disappeared for another game and 2, and then he showed up again for another game. Like, the streakiness was there. You had Trae Young having to shoot like 30% just to get the 30 points. Like, whereas, spoiler alert, he shot 50% against the Bucks. Just gonna leave that. Huh? Yeah.
Who did?
Trae Young.
Trae Young.
Yeah.
Right.
Shot 50% against the Bucks. Meanwhile, he struggled and he had like 35% for the series against the Sixers. All the Ben Simmons haters, you can remember that part about him being guarded. But speaking about the rest of the team, the Sixers collapse was very ugly. Was it 2 20-point blown leads in game 5 and 6?
Yep.
And
How did we forget?
Or was it 4 and 6? Wait, we blew the lead, then we ended up winning it.
It was back to back. It was 4 and 5.
4 and 5. Okay. Yeah. So we 2 20
we won
point
game
blown
6,
leads.
then we lost game 7.
Yeah.
Couldn't score in game.
Yeah. So
I don't know. This Sixers team is strange. And this organization has gotten really strange to me ever since Pat Croce left. And we're gonna take it all the way back.
Jesus.
And or because here's the thing, I don't understand this franchise.
Get well soon, bro.
Yeah, seriously. My thing is that this team for the last 20 years has prided itself in a way in being mediocre. What I mean by that is, I look at a lot of the free agent moves that they've made, a lot of drafts that they've made, stuff like that. This team has an insatiable infatuation with bigs, and they don't know what to do with them. Or they bring in bigs that are way past their prime and expect them to be big. They did that with Dikembe Mutombo. They did that with Derek Coleman. They did that with Chris Webber.
But wait, wasn't Mutombo like defensive player of the year that year?
He won defensive player of the year, but like that's it. He couldn't score a bucket.
Oh yeah.
Like, we brought him in so we could have him against Shaq, but like that was just that was one role that he played. And then once after that, like Mutombo was virtually inefficient in the following seasons, and they ended up trading him again. So, and then when you look at just their draft picks, when you look like Nerlens Noel, Okafor, I'm sure I'm missing plenty of other players, and they just keep bringing them in. And then the Al Horford trade, right? Yeah. Makes no sense at all. This team, this franchise plays scared, and they try to take everybody else's assets instead of trying to beat them and get better. And then they tanked. They tanked on purpose, and they just called it the process, right? And this is this feels like to me like the process is going to be one of those. It's already stigmatized, but now we're stuck with it, right? We can't be like, unless the Sixers make an effort to dispel that whole idea of the process being a thing. I don't know. Marketing team has their work cut out for them this offseason. So I think you need to start moving yourself away from that narrative because it doesn't serve you at all anymore. And I think what it's predicated off of is the exact thing that's keeping the Sixers from actually getting to the next level. Because again, this team has been mediocre since the late 90s. We're always a 4 or 5 seed, and every once in a while we might get a little bit higher than that, but we always end up disappointing. This team, this franchise is really poorly managed to the point where you see that player development is just not consistent. You see it with Markelle Fultz, and now we're seeing it with Ben Simmons. And we've seen it with other players too. They almost try to get rid of Allen Iverson back. Like, what
people don't like to talk about that. People act like they don't remember that. It's hilarious. The revisionist history by fans is disgusting.
Yep. And this is why I think people are trying to put all this blame on Ben. Really think we need to have a very real conversation about the idea that the Philadelphia 76ers organization does not care about winning a championship. They don't. Okay. And I don't know what they're doing. And I don't know what the process was about because it had nothing to do with winning a championship. Not at this point. Because if it did, I think they would be much better organized about how they went about making sure that Joel Embiid had shooters around him, that we had players that were going to support him in a better way. We needed defensive players and we needed a really good coach. Where are those things at? And why are we getting them in like sporadic doses here and there and then they end up leaving? We had JJ Redick and Jimmy Butler at one point. We should have won the finals in 2019. And we would have if Kawhi Leonard misses that shot. We had it, but we didn't do it. And then we just regressed after that. And here we are now. And it is really difficult. And I think it's going to be a very difficult time for the Sixers this offseason. And I think next season is going to be another disappointment. I don't see the Sixers really bouncing back at this point because I think they're stuck with so many of their players. They're stuck with Tobias Harris, which I know you're a Tobias Harris fan and all that stuff, but I think he needs to step up too. He's supposed to be our Jimmy Butler.
I'm not really a Tobias Harris fan. I'm not there.
Right. Well, you're not necessarily like calling for his head. So
I don't like. There's some people that really, they really can't stand him.
Yeah, he's overpaid, and I think Ben Simmons is overpaid. I think so. They're stuck with this, and this is a result of having such a poor foundation and no direction. And the whole process was supposed to revise that because what the process really should have been was saying, hey, we're going to stop being just a mediocre franchise that has so much of its history predicated off of how they performed in the 80s.
Yeah.
And then we had Charles Barkley in the 90s, which we squandered. And then we also had AI for a while. And then that was it. Like, this franchise has very little to say for other than that. And I just don't know about this team right now. I don't know how I feel about being a fan of the Sixers right now because it just doesn't feel like they represent the team. And I knew the Sixers weren't going to win a championship when they came out with those dang city jerseys. I knew it was over after that. I wrote a whole essay about that, dude. I'm like, yo,
you remember?
Nope, it's not happening.
When they came out, and I sent you the message. I was like, bro, why? I was like, why is this here?
Exactly. And
why is this a thing?
This franchise is so out of touch. But go ahead.
All right. So I agree with a lot of your stuff. I agree with a lot of what you said. The process died when they went out and signed Jimmy. When they went after Jimmy Butler. I officially declared the process dead that moment because it no longer became about hoarding draft picks and no longer became a farm system like Oklahoma City is pretty much doing right now. It's basically says we need to win. Once that team became we need to win, we need to get the win, I was like, the process is gone. The process is final. That was a wrap. This new situation, and I've had some time to really think about this, and I've became more and more optimistic with how it's going now compared to what it was 2 years ago with, I hate saying his name, Brett Brown. Oh, sorry. When Brett Brown was here, God, it's so gross to say. He kind of ruined our golden opportunity to keep Jimmy Butler, because what they saw was how Brett was kind of just way too lackadaisical, was kind of just not really a person that was going to call you out on your crap. He kind of just was like, they'll figure it out. He was too pop zen for his own good. He was just kind of like, oh, I know what I'm doing, guys. And he was like the guy that would walk around and like in school thinking that he was gonna pass the final with no problem and not even studying, and then drops and got a 32. And you were like, bruh, you could have read a book for like 2 minutes and you chose not to.
Right.
So he was more of that guy. And Jimmy was like, oh, if he's still around, I can't stay here. And when you have a guy like that, because he's not calling out Ben Simmons for his shooting as much. He said something before, but he kind of like was kind of passive about it, which is like not what you want to do. The thing I liked about when they went out and got Doc Rivers, even though I understand Doc Rivers had the whole ugly situation in with the Clippers and whatnot, it's still the Clippers. The Clippers are notoriously just tarnished, like they're cursed. It was shocked that they got to the playoffs to begin with. And God forbid the infighting and the power, it's all a mess. The power struggles and ownership thing. There's so much stuff over in Clipperland that was just disgusting to watch. But to see him come in and he was like, we're going to call everybody out. If you're not going to be the best player or the best scorers, you're going to be the best defensive team ever. Like, you're going to shut down people. You're going to make it your purpose to do something. Like before, I never even thought about defense as a thing for us. Like, I was like, wait, defense is we weren't doing defense? And they were like, no, we weren't. Oh, and then they were like, oh, this is defense. Bible would have been gone. Bible was almost traded before any of this stuff when Doc first got there, because he just didn't see anything in Thibault at first. And Thibault was like, wait, I can play defense. And he was like, word. And he was like, okay, because Thibault almost got no time on the court. And then he was like, oh wait, you're a defensive guy. I can work with this. Like, those type of adjustments made me feel a little bit more optimistic about the situation. The one thing I was really kind of like annoyed about is our second unit. And the second unit, even during the regular season, is not as strong as other teams. Like when I look at a team like Atlanta and sometimes Milwaukee or even the Nets or whatever, when you have a second unit come on the field and come on the court and they can maintain a lead and not have to worry about blowing it like immediately as soon as they get on the floor, that's a very comfortable moment. Like when you go out there and you see Lou Will and Gallinari and all of them out there still scoring and they still getting hyped up like they're starters. I'm like, huh, must be nice.
Yeah.
And the one time we get it, it's like once in a while you'll get a Shake Milton go off night. And you're like, hey, I forgot Shake was here, because Shake was shooting like god awful 2 nights before. And you're like, well, why are you here? Then all of a sudden you have like a random Korkmaz night. And you're like, well, wait a minute. Hey, Korkmaz, where you been? You been hurt? No, he's been there. He just wasn't doing anything. Then Mike Scott shows up. You might as well just send him home. Like, he's not doing enough for us to begin with. You know what? And you know what? Let me make sure. Let me stop right here. Mike Scott, I have nothing but utmost respect for you. You are a warrior. I've seen you beat up people in the streets. I appreciate you, and I mean no disrespect by this, but yo, no, you had no business. None. You were not a center. I don't know why they thought putting you at center was a good idea, because it was not. You were undersized, you were slower, and you're not a strong shooter. You were an enforcer, and you were an enforcer that I would be cool with at the bottom of the bench if I didn't need that spot that you were currently sitting in. So that kind of hurt me watching him come on the floor, because I'm like, yo, he's not going to do enough for me to be happy about this right now. Dwight Howard, granted, Dwight Howard is not Dwight Howard from Orlando or some other places, but what Dwight Howard brought to the table, I was super appreciative, because he was bringing a lot of like that toughness, that attitude that that kind of fed off of Embiid's attitude and kind of gave Ben a little bit more attitude at times. Because I was like, I would see the way him and Ben would talk, and they'd be like, "Yo," and like Dwight, like, "This your moment, bro." And I'm like, "Yo, that's what you need from a vet like that, to sit there and be like, yo, go take their soul, yo." And you're like, "Yo, that's Dwight Howard." Like, he was called Superman at one point. Like, the new Man of Steel just told me to go take someone's heart? Yes, I will do it. Let's do this. Like, I was super pumped for that. Then you got like Maxey. Like, I was super proud of Maxey. Maxey did an amazing job this year. For a rookie to come in there and he would just be the energy and whatnot, it is nice to see for the future. And I'm hoping that they don't ruin this. But I'm optimistic because I feel like the coaching staff that they have over there with Doc now, when you got Sam Cassell, you got real point guards. You got people that have played some minutes on the floor as a point guard that can help Maxey grow and keep developing as a guard. So I'm like, oh, all right, cool. What I need for them
is he technically a point guard?
Technically, yeah.
Yeah. I would love to see him. Yeah.
I mean, it'd be nice, like, if our second unit was a little bit better, I would love to see even him working the starter as the point guard.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he could. I really think he could.
And moving Ben to the 4.
He wants to.
I would love for Ben to move to the 4, have Maxey at the 1, with Seth Curry at 2, and Danny Green working the second unit. I would love it.
Yeah, that is a dope lineup,
right?
Come on.
Because then you have Ben over there, and then what I'm hoping when you have a speedy guy like a Maxey, you have a nice little pick and roll action with not only just Maxey and Embiid, but Maxey and Ben, where Ben can go up for the alley-oops, like how we are seeing Collins do with Trae Young, or what Capella is doing with Trae Young. So there's options there. I would love for that to happen. I don't want to see Ben as the sole point guard. I've never been sold on Ben being point guard. But yeah, I want to see that type of transition happen. But I know Maxey's still young, so I know that I don't know if they want to give him the keys to the car this early. You don't want him looking like.
So was Ben Simmons though.
They're only
about what 2-3 years apart.
Yeah. I don't want Maxey to go out there and look like Kenan Thompson and start a Good Burger driving his mom's car. Only reason why I said that is because I watched Good Burger on Discord yesterday.
I saw you watching. Yeah, that's such a great movie. It's a great stoner movie too.
Yeah, it's a really good movie.
Speaking for me.
So good. Although it's a lot of problems in there that I wasn't.
Of course.
Carmen Electra is not young. Just saying. Roxanne was not young.
People got away. No, we got away with a lot in the 90s.
I didn't know kidnapping and throwing them in an insane asylum with no paperwork was that easy.
And then there's a musical number. And then George Clinton is there. What is happening in this movie?
First of all,
you can't even really.
You
couldn't make that movie in 2020.
How can you get George Clinton to show up and not Bootsy show up with him? Like,
right?
How could you not have all?
I mean, it was Nickelodeon. They probably didn't have the budget for both. It was like, we gotta take one or the other. Let's take a survey for the kids. Who knows who Bootsy Collins is? They probably didn't know who Bootsy.
They had Sinbad in the support role, yo. They had money. They could ball out. If you can afford Sinbad, you can ball out and get Bootsy Collins.
True.
I feel like one dance number.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, yeah.
And Keenan's assault of a grown men was something too. Like, he truly did beat up just two grown men by himself while dancing. All right.
Oh man,
back to the Sixers.
It is so weird, and I love it. I might have to watch it tonight.
It's on the Netflix.
It is on the Netflix.
Yeah. But yeah, back to the Sixers.
Also on
collapse.
a hard drive that I have. That is.
I actually feel super confident this year because when Brett Brown was in charge, it just didn't feel like those adjustments would happen. And I feel like with Doc literally said, "Yo, no, Ben's coming with me to LA to work on his own stuff. Like, it's been weird. It's been a long time since I've actually heard a coach say, "No, we're gonna work out with this together. We're gonna figure this out." Like, I've never seen someone go hands on with that with a lot of players. Like, you see that with Popovich and stuff like that, where they be like, "Oh no, you're gonna make some moves. You're gonna make this to work." Like, so it's refreshing to see, and it's refreshing that they actually called him out on it, and it was refreshing to see Ben actually take accountability too. Like, they kind of didn't brush it off and say, "Oh, it was a team thing" or whatever. Ben was like, "No, I need to get better." And I mean, granted, we've all heard these stories before. Everybody said, "I've heard him say that before." Here's the thing: I've never looked at Ben as a primary scorer. I never looked at him as a secondary scorer. On the starting unit, he was like 4th or 5th option.
Yeah.
So I didn't really care. Like, I just want him to actually feel confident to do it if he can do it. I don't want him to feel unconfident in himself, like, because that'll also just mess with him in general. So I wanted him to just get the confidence back in himself, and that's very possible to do. Like, I'm shocked that people kind of are like surprised that that's never going to happen. I'm like, it's very doable. There's people that have had shooting slumps. Absolutely. I've seen people that have done bad and have got better over time. So I'm not too worried, and we'll get more about Ben in a second. I'm not too worried about Ben or the team. I'm not too worried about the team because I feel like the team's going to continue to grow. I don't take the bubble year as serious as as everybody else did, because Joel Embiid was not in his mindset there. And you kind of understand that for the simple fact that he was becoming a dad, and he was taking this COVID thing serious. He was not trying to be around anybody.
Yeah.
He walked up in a hazmat suit, not because he wanted to be funny, but because he didn't want to get sick. And
yeah,
I'm like,
because people like, that's coming from his culture. Like, they deal with pandemics a little bit differently in parts of Africa, because they have them way more frequently than the rest of the world. It's a whole nother conversation. Yeah. But yes,
I feel like the maturity of Embiid was happening this year, which is something that was awesome. Because if fans had the option of running this team, Embiid would have never been at an MVP position here this year, because he would have been gone before the bubble.
You've been gone.
Yeah. And that's the one thing. The one thing I did not like about the previous runs and stuff like that is because we were so quick to think about what the fans were worried about. The fans were so engulfed
have way too much agency.
Yeah. The fans were so engulfed in Markelle Fultz's situation, and they were so vocal about it. It ruined us in that old administration, because they were like, we got to get rid of him at that point. And you look at Markelle Fultz now and what he's done in Orlando before his ACL injury. Get well soon, Markelle. He ended up doubling his average from what he had here in Philadelphia.
Like 15.
Yeah. Like, he went from 7 points a game to 14 and a half. Like, those type of things aren't something that just are made up. Like, these are things that happen, and fans were sitting there and they're like, oh, well, he didn't do that for us. You never gave him a chance to do it. You never got a chance to fully heal. Orlando did it smart. They said, we're going to sit him. He has no rush. We're going to go get him checked out, everything like that. He can work in the G League if he wants to. He can go work a summer league if he wants to. Anything to get him back and get his confidence going. And then you see him out there dunking the ball, and he's shooting threes again. Like, he looks so much happier. And I feel like the fans ruined that chance for us to have that moment, because we in Philly Sports Talk Radio, which is literally a dumpster fire wrapped in a dirty diaper, wrapped in anything that is just completely wrong with your ex-girlfriend at this time. Like, they're the worst possible thing, and they're like Skip Bayless is left like old children. Like, it's disgusting to watch. And they ruined. It's
so true.
They ruined that moment. Like, I understood like the whole process when you were trying to find the best player, because you knew your team was gonna suck anyway. And here's the fun fact: the worst thing about the worst thing about the process, it happened during the same time as the one and done. So you're getting a bunch of people that are not 100% ready to play, and you're basically going off of potential. And Joel, what's that? Jalil Okafor was off of potential, off of 1 year in college. Now, if you saw Jalil Okafor in college for 4 years, you'd either know he was either going to be trash, or he was going to be polished enough to be ready to play. He was not ready to play when he came to the pros. Nerlens Noel was not ready to play when he came to the pros. They're not mentally and emotionally ready to handle professional careers after being one and done. And Nerlens Noel took a lot of money from a lot of teams just to finally get the maturity level in New York. Okafor is a third string center. I forget, where's that name? Maybe Detroit? Like,
to the Google.
yeah, I believe he's in Detroit, because I saw a Detroit game, and they were like, Jalil Okafor comes in the game, and I was like, you're still around. Oh wow, congrats, guy. I guess good luck. But I was like, yo,
Detroit Pistons.
Yeah, he's like the third string backup center. Like, no one cares about him because he has been notoriously not caring about his conditioning. He does not look to improve. He kind of just felt like that kid that went to college that first year and thought, I'm the greatest player of all time, because everyone told him that he was the greatest player of all time. And he never said, I'm going to work on it to get better. And that's the worst thing about not even just the process, but how college basketball has become these last, 20 years or so. Everybody was trying to get the next Kobe. Everybody was trying to get the next Kevin Garnett. Everybody was trying to get the next LeBron. What did they get? A lot of Kwame Browns, a lot of Greg Odens.
Yeah. Yes.
Like, you got a lot of players that were not ready, that were not prepared for the stardom and the professional workload that is basketball. Because basketball is not just I'm just gonna go play a game. It's a professional job. And there's a lot that goes into it. And you have to be prepared to put a lot of effort into it. And a lot of these guys did not want to.
Yeah, so kind of go off what you're saying here. I think there's a couple things that are happening with like the Sixers team and just like kind of the fans in general. I think fans have such a short-term memory when it comes to things. So I think what's happening with Ben Simmons is exactly the same thing that happened with Markelle Fultz.
Yep. And
we're going to keep trading away star players. I don't think Ben Simmons is a superstar player. I think he's a really great point forward, and he needs to be able to play in his role. I think what's happening to him is that he was assigned something as a point guard that he should never have been.
Yeah.
And people have gotten in his head. He is trying to play a game that he doesn't want.
Yeah.
And I think after a certain time, you start to believe that that's what you're supposed to be doing. So you don't try to change your game at all because you feel like you're locked in, but you're also at the same time resisting it too. And I think this happens to a lot of people in ways that they may not realize on a whole ass everyday level. I think a lot of people go through something like this where they're sort of gifted this talent and they do this thing, but they don't really want to do it, or they don't have a system in place that's helping them really develop that skill into something more that makes sense to them as opposed to whatever their agenda is. This is what really scares me about the Sixers organization, is that they keep drafting these players or signing and trading for these players that they don't know what to do anything with, which makes the entire process moot. Because just like you said, that it died when they went after Jimmy Butler, it sure did, because we were supposed to be a team that was going to develop our players. We were supposed to have that farm system.
Yeah.
And we decided, hey, you know what? Actually, let's nip that in the bud real quick. Let's pick up Jimmy. Let's make a run here. And this is going to be it. This is what the process
once they
was
realized
Butler.
the impact of Embiid and Simmons, they said, holy crap, we could win this now. Let's go get Jimmy and JJ. And
they pulled the trigger way too soon.
Well, I know. No,
they should have never pulled any triggers, really.
You know what? I'm actually glad they pulled the trigger because we needed it done, because we needed to get rid of Brett Brown.
Okay, and Yeah, and you know what? I totally agree with that, because I think what could have happened if I think the process failed before Jimmy came.
Yeah.
And I think that's why Jimmy came. But then because the process had failed, we didn't have the system in place to make sure that we kept a player like Jimmy Butler happy.
Yeah.
Which is just like, hey, he just wants to play hard. He wants to work hard with the team. He wants the team to work hard. That's why he left Minnesota. And that's not who we are. We are the Minnesota Timberwolves in that way.
Yeah.
Right? So
especially at that time,
that to me, and so I wonder, I don't feel particularly confident in this team right now, because I don't think that this organization has the personnel and the attitude in place to get Ben Simmons to the level that he needs.
I mean,
I just don't think they do, and I hope they prove me wrong.
Yeah.
I really do, because I want Joel Embiid to win a championship. I really, really do. And honestly, if we go another couple years of this, dude, then sure, I think it might be time to start thinking about starting from scratch, because I think that could be worth it. And I think there is something to be said about committing to a player like Ben Simmons and just trying to make it work. Give it the effort. We haven't tried yet. This was Doc Rivers' first year, so it was the first time with the team. Also, it's coming off of COVID, man. That stuff impacts the game so much in such a way that we don't see as fans.
It messed up a lot of their chemistry, especially during the season when they had those 2 contact tracing breaks, like where Ben ended up missing right after the All-Star break, and then they missed a lot of it in the early part of the season. I mean, which gave Maxey and them a little bit more experience, which was great. But I feel like when you have a limited amount of practice due to the COVID situation, it's kind of hurting a first-time coach like Doc. Not first time, but first time here in the setup. But they did make a great move bringing in Seth Curry, because we could have had Austin Rivers, which I thought was like, I didn't know if Austin would have been good too. But the way Seth performed this playoff, I was like, I'm super happy we went with Seth instead of Austin. And who knows, maybe we can get Austin Rivers in the free agency to work our second unit. Who knows? Be a nice little shooter, nice little guard. But I don't think it. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing out ideas or whatever. But I'm liking right now, because we went out and got Danny Green. We went out and got Dwight Howard. We actually went for like veterans with winning experience. We took 2 vets off of the Lakers championship team. Like, and they weren't what's his name, Jared Dudley or something like that. Like, that were kind of just like at the tail end of the bench, and like no one cared about them. We actually went for a couple of their actual role players that they really could have needed this year, and they actually did really well for us. The Danny Green defense definitely key. Dwight's influence out there, his attitude, it just worked well as that team. And I want to see what Doc is able to do in the offseason, when he has an actual full offseason to actually work with this team after seeing what he just built. I know they're going to do some more work with the second unit, because the second unit was god-awful this year. I think they averaged like 13 points a game, maybe less than that. Like, they definitely averaged around that during the playoffs, which is not good at all. Which means that our starters are on the floor way too long, because our second unit is not getting the job done. And that's not what you want to see. That's not what you want to hear. You don't want people like a Joel Embiid, who is going out there with reckless abandonment, to be having more time on the floor when he doesn't need to be, because the second unit is not holding their position. So I'm optimistic, because I want to see what they're able to do after this moment. Like, if they can't get anybody to come in to work the second unit, if they're not able to re-sign Danny Green or whatever, they're not able to make the real adjustments over the offseason that they've been basically shown this entire playoff series, then I'm a little bit more disgusted. Ben Simmons is signed here for 4 years. So we're stuck with him at least for the next 3. I believe, like, I don't know why, but I believe just because of who he is around, he's going to do better. when you have someone like LeBron James around you, I believe you're going to do better. Like, and you're out in LA where LeBron is, you're going to do better. LeBron's not going to let you be at his agency, even though he's not technically an owner. You're not going to be in his agency or whatever and be a bum. And I feel like fans have a lot of short-term memory, and they kind of get in the heat of the moment and they start to overreact. Because we all knew about Ben Simmons' shot for years.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about Ben Simmons' shot all this year until the series was over. Because we didn't care, because we were still number one in the conference. He dropped 40 points in a game. He was dropping triple doubles still, no matter what. His effort was there. His aggression was there. Two things that we did not see in that Atlanta series. But he sat there and his defensive prowess was still there too. Even before the Atlanta series, in the Washington series, when you got to sit there and you got to guard a Bradley Beal and a Westbrook every night, and then you lose your top center and have to go play small, and you're playing the 5 role and moving wherever you need to, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And for a person that gifted, you don't throw him away.
No, you don't throw him away. You build around him.
Yes.
I think this is what I'm saying about like Sixers, and we will see this year whether or not the process was a success.
Yeah. Because a lot of fans were
Putting
talking about,
aside
oh,
the
this
whole
is Philly.
idea.
You gotta be able to handle the toughness because we're relentless or whatever. I'm sorry, our fan base sucks. But because they also compared like Allen Iverson was able to handle it,
but he wasn't, because I think a lot of people forget that Iverson was a terrible shooter.
Exactly.
He was a terrible shooter.
A lot of people forget these things. They forget that he was a terrible shooter. They forgot he was at one point a terrible teammate.
Yes.
Jerry
For the
Stackhouse,
first few years, his
Jerry
first
Stackhouse
4 years,
will tell
he
you,
was bad.
Jerry Stackhouse will tell you this was not a fun time to be at. Larry Brown will tell you this was not a fun place. There was times when the media used to call him a terrible player on every sports talk show. They hated him. And just because AI didn't suffer on the court because he still dropped 30 or 40 a night did not mean his personal life didn't suffer either. His personal life was wild too. Like, that we don't really talk about as much because there's just there, but no, there was a lot of stuff going on. And then they also, like, I use McNabb as an example. McNabb was destroyed his first day, and he was getting destroyed every season by fans. They hated him. They never wanted him. They were ready to get AJ Feely on the floor. You imagine being so bad or being so pissed off at a person that you call for AJ Feely, Kevin Cobb, and the Detmer brother, Detmers, like, you called in Ty Detmer, all of them. It was terrible.
Ty Detmer.
And
Doug Peterson
Coy Detmer
was like his mentor.
Yeah. Like, you called in all these guys for one person who ended up eventually leading you to a Super Bowl. Like, I'm like, yo, there's a way.
And wasn't that also in his 5th year?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Possibly.
So this is the thing that I need people to really understand. Iverson's first and only time in the finals was in his 5th year.
Yep.
McNabb made the Super Bowl his 5th year. It takes time.
Yeah.
It takes
Especially
so much time. I think people think that, and like, I think I need fans to start understanding that just because a player has played millions and millions of dollars doesn't mean that they have the tools that they need in order to actually be the player that we expect them
to get the
whatever Ben Simmons is going through it's so mental for him.
Yeah.
And I think you can only resolve what those issues are, but so much with money. You got to have a support system. You got to have the practice. You got to have so many other things fall into place, which he doesn't have complete control over because he's an NBA player. So, like, how much you get paid does not dictate how good you are or how good you can be, what you're supposed to be, and what other fallacies that a person may have, because we forget that Ben Simmons is a human being. All the things that we go through emotionally, mentally, or whatever that are holding us back, those same things apply to athletes. We need to start being so much more patient, because it's just not going to happen for Ben Simmons the way that I think it is. He's not the player that we're trying to force him to be. I really hope we don't drive him out of town. I really do hope that the Sixers are good at, like, because he's going to go to another team and he's just going to blow everything out of the water, because it's going to be in his 5th, 6th, 7th year. He's going to be an amazing player. I firmly believe that. But I think we got to remember, he's 24. Like, how many mistakes did you make at 24?
Tons.
That you're looking back now, like, I really bounced back from that later on in my 20s. Yeah. And then it was good. You never thought about it again. But, like, you had to go through that. And
the thing that
I hope people respect that more.
The thing that gets me, and I keep going back to the one and done thing. When you had superstars like Jordan and all those guys, they went through like 3 to 4 years of college sports. That was their time to develop and, you know, get to where they were, get to their mark of being best when they came out. When people are drafted now, it's off of potential. You're basically just going into a high school pool at this point, and they have a little bit of experience in college, but it's like a couple months. Not real. It's like going to the summer league. So when you're getting these guys, for potential. So it takes about 3 to 4 years of building and growing and understanding this game to then be able to handle it and translate it better. The difference here is, like, Ben Simmons is in year 4. I don't count his first year because he was in the boot or whatever. I don't count that year. He's in year 4. So these next 4 years is something that he has to worry about. He has to actually, like, show and prove. Andrew Wiggins is in year 8. He has showed you what he is about. You know what he is about. He's not getting better. At year 8, you kind of know exactly where you are. You might grow a little bit, but if you're not a superstar at that point, you're not going to be there. If you're not an all-star regular at that point, you're not going to be there. And I feel like people just need to stop throwing in the towel so quickly and let this team develop themselves. Because right now, anything that was before with Brett Brown, you were pretty much giving, it was like, I'll give a story for you. You remember this type of stuff. Camp Overbrook is something we used to work at on the summers for many, many years. Now, we had 2 different administrations at that time. We had the Mr. Thomas administration, and you had the Mr. J administration. And Mr. Thomas administration is a very tough guy. He didn't care about nothing. He wasn't going to play the games. Mr. J is the complete opposite. He's super nice. He's super soft, like, not softy, but he's kind of softy. He was super cool and super chill, but he was kind of lacking in, like, that I'm going to grit and grind this one out. Mr. Thomas was going to grit and grind you out, and he was going to grind anybody that can't got in the way of that or messed up in any type of situation. When we went from our grit and grind of Mr. Thomas to the cool, calm, and collective of Mr. J, it was all downhill from there, because we were just hemorrhaging money even more than ever, and we were spending even more. Like, we weren't like, oh, we're losing a little bit of money. No, we're gonna spend a little bit more, no problem. And we were just blowing money fast, and then it was over before you knew it. Yeah. And I feel like right now we're in that Mr. Thomas phase after leaving a Mr. J phase. And we're going to get back to the grittiness that is Sixer basketball.
I hope so.
Because Doc remembers our gritty days because he played against us in those gritty days. He knows what Philadelphia is about. Sam Cassell knows what Philadelphia is about. The real Philadelphia. Like those guys played in the spectrum.
Right. Exactly.
So they know what
attitude
needs to come out, and that's what attitude we started to see. We've seen the attitude in Ben Simmons' face where he would just be sitting there and he was like, "Yo, what?" And he'd be like, "I'm eating these balls up all night. I don't care." Like he was like, "I'm ready to dunk on everybody." So I'm hoping that we can continue that and we keep feeding that. We'll
Fingers
see.
Crossed. I hope so.
Yeah,
I hope so, because I am looking forward to healing from the disappointment that was this season.
Yeah.
In the off season.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to next year. I think it's going to be exciting for the entire NBA since everyone will have a real off season. Hopefully everyone gets as healthy as possible in that time. Hopefully there will be less injuries and we won't have such an injury prone playoff season. But I think the Sixers are going to be right there. I think they are going to, get better and stuff like that. But I think also what ended up happening is that's just a hope. We can't know that until we start seeing what happens in the offseason. Hopefully they'll pull it all together.
We'll see what the offseason moves are. The offseason moves will dictate how we're looking at this season. I don't expect us to trade Ben Simmons. I know I already saw Daryl Morey say that he's not looking to trade him. He wants to build with this core. And I feel like this core with Joel Embiid, Tobias Harris, and Ben Simmons will get us a win and will get us deep in the playoffs. I am not the biggest Tobias Harris fan. I respect his ability to get us 20 every night, which is something I was just kind of like, I'd be shocked because I never looked at it and be like, wait a minute, what did Tobias Harris do all night? And I look at the stat line, he had 20 points already. I'm like, how? When was this? I'm like, I don't really understand how he got 20 points out of nowhere, but he ends up always doing it. He had like 20 and 10. I'm like, all right, well, you know what? I can't be too mad at a guy that gets 20 and 10. But I want Tobias Harris to get 25, 30 a night more. I want him to go for that more and more instead of just aiming for 20. Especially if you're working the second unit.
If Tobias Harris was not such a max contract dude for some reason, I think he would be a solid 6-man. He would be a great 6-man off the bench. He could lead the bench, but he doesn't want to because his agent's like, you deserve all the money. Isn't like his agent his dad or something, or his brother? So it's just like Tobias. I don't know worth a damn about what's going on in the league. I am not an insider. I am coming from the armchair. But I really do believe Tobias Harris's camp got into his head and made him think that he's a lot better than what he is. I think he is not a prolific scorer.
No.
He doesn't want to be. And he's a 6th or 7th guy. Period. And he's a really good one.
Yeah.
But he's not going to have that kind of humility to just be like, hey, you know what? I will take that step down. And then the rest of the organization and the team is going to be like, well, you make $100 million plus and you coming off the bench. And
oh no, he's never going to come off the bench now.
That's never going to come off the bench. And but he should. And but
I see it.
It would be great if we could get his 20 off the bench, because his 20 points a game feels like it's coming off the bench. It doesn't feel as impactful as the 20, 30 points you might get from Joel Embiid or Seth Curry. Yeah. So,
well, I feel it. I feel you have to pay these guys more now because the way the league is spending and whatnot, he could go somewhere else. And he's a nice solid Pippen, if anything, because he will get you the solid. Yeah, Tobias Harris will get you the solid 20, 25 a night if he really pushes himself. And he does work the second unit. He is their star player in the second unit. It's just that the second unit doesn't really have the other shooters around him to make it scary for everybody. Like, you don't have the Gullinaris, and Korkmaz has been streaky. You got Shake Milton, who's streaky, and for some reason, I don't know. Sometimes Tobias Harris is playing iso ball out there for with the second unit, and he's not getting
Yeah.
the open moves that he normally would. So it's not clicking for me as much as in the second unit as it should. So I'm expecting more, and I'm expecting that they're going to make them changes for the second unit as well, along with Tobias Harris. Because I believe Tobias Harris can do better. I believe he can go from not just being 20 and 10, but 25 and 10, 30 and 10. I want that to be his regular home instead of 25 or 20. I want him to be the second unit guy, because I mean, most of the time when he's getting those points because Joel Embiid's off the floor. Because when Joel Embiid's on the floor, he is not the focal point, and he knows that, and we all know that. But he can get his points if Joel Embiid gets doubled, which is great. But he can also take over the team, and I want him to take over that second unit. I want him to be like, this is my team. I'm gonna make this work with whoever I have. So I'm hoping that a lot of this season is going to be used as fuel and hunger, and because I see teams like Miami and there's other teams out there that messed up their like first time like really getting a chance to really work together, and then came back the next year and did even better. And I'm considering this organization a lot different than Brett Brown's organization. Because wasn't Brett at one point the GM too? Like,
I think so.
Yeah. So I was like, yeah, this isn't gonna work. So I have a lot of optimism. I'm still disappointed. Like, but I'm optimistic about this organization right now, the current one, not what they've done before. Because right now they're not even entertaining the fans and all their crap about trading Ben Simmons, which I'm happy about. Because once you start focusing on what the fans want and every time and rapidly just doing these rash decisions, you become the Cleveland Browns. Look at the Cleveland Browns. Look at their quarterback selection. Their quarterback list in the last 20 years is longer than some kids' Christmas list after they get the big book of toys. It's disgusting. It's embarrassing.
It really is.
And it's a knee-jerk reaction every time. If you're a person that's doing knee-jerk reactions to appease fans and not worry about focusing on winning, you're losing the game already. And that's what you can't do. You cannot sit here and start overreacting and overthinking and freaking out because the fans are upset about this. Yes, the fans are going to be upset. We're all upset about this situation. Like, we've heard kids literally sit there and talk about how Joel Embiid is soft because he cried after making the jump shot. And or when Kawhi made the jump shot.
Wow, yeah.
And I'm like, oh, now he's soft. And then all of a sudden he comes in and he destroys everyone in his path this past year. And they're like, oh yeah, beast mode. No, you were the same fan that called him soft, that called him a quitter, that called him lazy, that called him fat, that called him pathetic, that called him trash, that called him a bust. You were calling all-star players bust. That's when I know I'm not talking to you.
Yeah. Fans are so conditional.
Yeah.
And I think there's this whole idea that when you are a fan of a team, that you're supposed to stay a fan of that team. And I think you can't do that. First of all, I don't think that that's necessarily healthy. But if you're going to do that, you have to be unconditional in your fandom of that team. Right? Because if you love the Sixers, then you love them for their flaws too. And I don't think fans are able to do that now.
Yeah.
I don't know where that changed, because I really do. I would love to go back in the past and really look at just like, or hear how people talked about AI in like his third or fourth year compared to how we're talking about Ben Simmons now. You know, because I don't think it's changed, but I think it's becoming so much more pronounced now.
Yeah.
That here are the Sixers with this generational talent, and the fans just are called like it's so. I had to take social media off my phone.
Yeah.
For many reasons, but one of those reasons was because just seeing all the posts about Sixers trade Ben Simmons, he can't get a shot, all this other stuff. I'm just like, stop.
Yeah.
Because it's not. You're missing the point. You're missing the whole point of what's actually happening with this franchise. Bigger than Ben.
Yeah.
Bigger than Ben. Nobody wants to really have the conversation. No one is capable of having the conversation because they're just like, why doesn't he take his shots? And it's because he's not supposed to be. It's not a point guard.
It wasn't his focal
The
point.
organization needs to figure that out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it never was, and it never will be. And I think that's why the Sixers really has to take a look at their roster right now, because I think if you put aside payroll right now, I think you could really assemble this team in a much different way than right now as they are. It's dysfunctional. And this franchise may potentially be done in by their ego and their payroll.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping that they do something. I'm hoping that they're gonna make the considerable changes. I feel confident because I like how Doc and them. I like how Doc and Daryl Morey got on this really early. Daryl said, "We're not moving this core. This is our core." Like,
it's a great core.
I remember I saw something where fans were talking about trading Ben Simmons, Thibault, and Maxey for Damian Lillard, and I'm like, so we definitely want to lose here.
Right.
Because you're going to trade two of our best defensive guys and our young rookie star possible for one star? Don't get me wrong, Dame's a great player, but yo, we're throwing the farm at this for one guy? No. Yeah. So once I see fans making those ridiculous trade ideas, I'm like, yeah, I'm good. And I've definitely been trying to like avoid social media. Like I'll jump in, but I'm like, I'm not trying to really talk Sixer basketball. Like, go ahead, dog. If you wanna get angry about my post about it, go ahead, dog. I don't care. You can get all your jokes off. I'm not going to agree with you, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, it was just. But I'm optimistic. Like before, if this was the Brett Brown era, I'd be pessimistic and I'd be like, "This is done. We're done. They're gonna be begging for lottery picks at this point." I don't believe we're gonna be back in the lottery this year. I believe we're still gonna be contending for the top spot.
Absolutely.
Of the Eastern Conference.
Absolutely.
Here's the thing: we're gonna get better. The Nets are gonna get better, and Milwaukee's gonna get better.
So are a lot of teams in the East.
Yeah.
Milwaukee's gonna get better. Atlanta's gonna get better. The Knicks are gonna get better.
Chicago's gonna get better.
Chicago's gonna get better. I mean,
Orlando's gonna get better.
Gonna be fierce next year. Orlando's gonna get better. I mean, bruh, it's so wild because this year's playoffs has been so entertaining. I think we're seeing maybe not necessarily a lot of teams that can win all this year, but I think we're looking at a future where we might see this year an NBA Finals that features the Atlanta Hawks and the Phoenix Suns, two mid-tier franchises.
Yep.
And I don't think that's going to be the last time for a while because I don't think any franchise right now looks like they can dominate for a long time. I don't even think the Nets are going to go to the next. They're not going to stay healthy and they're not going to stay together for a long time. So their window is small. And I think they can be beaten. I think they can be beaten in the playoffs, but that's for another conversation in 2022.
Yep.
And I don't know. I think it's going to be fun to watch basketball if you are a basketball fan and like to see all these different teams and players excel. Because I don't want to see the same 2-3 teams win. We've been doing that for the last 30 years. I'm done.
Yep.
Let's get some fresh blood in the finals.
Yep.
Great. Let's do this.
Like, what was the first time you haven't seen was it LeBron or Steph Curry or Kevin Durant in the finals in like 10 years or like 12 years?
More
like,
Evers.
No Tim Duncan. Like,
no Tim Duncan, no Kobe, no Shaq.
Yeah.
No LeBron again.
So it's interesting to see, and I'm super excited as well. And I feel like the Sixers are definitely going to make a run. And I'm ready for it. Whew, that was a good talk. Good old hour.
Yeah, man.
Hour and 15 minutes. So, and
hour and a half.
Hour 15.
You called me at 5:15. I jumped at 5:15. So Hour and a half. It's a whole show.
Yep.
Export this to Spotify or something.
So,
Show.
I want to thank you again for coming through. But before we get out of here and everything, I want to hear what you got going on. What's next for you?
What's next for me? That is a big loaded question. Hence why I didn't show up to the show yesterday, because I have a lot of things going on with where I feel like I want to be in life. Because we old out here. We gotta,
Very
be
true.
old.
Very true.
But for now, you can catch me on Insta and Twitter, KyleLiterally, but you can also check out my podcast, Side Quest Enthusiasts, a gaming podcast about the quest we play to be who we are. You can follow that on Spotify, YouTube, iTunes, or Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and then you can follow us on social media at SQEcast on Twitch, Instagram, and the Twitter. That's what I got going on, man. New
Awesome.
episode coming next week, not this week. Kind of taking a little bit of a breather. But yeah, I got a really dope interview next week that I'm putting out. Yeah.
Nice. When's the next Twitch show?
When's the next what show?
Yeah. When's the next Side
What
Quest
show?
Twitch show? When's the next tournaments? When's
That
the
is a
battles?
great question. I don't know, man. That's another thing I gotta think about. Streaming is hard work.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you do it every day. I did it for a few months, once a week, and I'm like, oof.
The
I am
worst
burnt
part
out.
is
I
I'm
need
going
a
to
break from streaming. It is not in my blood.
The worst part
So,
is
I don't
I'm
know.
going to do 2 streams this weekend that are really long
That's hard.
because
Why do that?
for a special cause.
Take the day off.
for-
It's your birthday.
For a special cause,
That's a
though, we're
special
we're
cause.
doing I'm going to do it from the fundraiser that I'm doing currently over on Facebook for the
Okay,
Lupus
okay.
Foundation and everything like that. So I'm going to be streaming all this time, and while we're here, the goal, if I hit my goal, which I believe is $300 this year because we did $200 last year,
Nice.
if we hit 300 this year, I will do a 24-hour stream. My first thought was I would do another smoothie challenge, and then I smacked myself
Don't
and
do
said,
that.
never doing that again.
I don't know, 24-hour stream.
No.
You did at the
I wasn't going to do a
end of
24-hour
stream.
No,
when
I
you
wasn't
got
going
the
to do a
next day
24-hour
off.
and a smoothie challenge. I was just going to do the smoothie challenge.
Oh.
But then I was like, there's no way in
Oh.
the world I'm going to do another smoothie challenge ever again. So I'd rather do a 24-hour stream. Because I have a lot of time off this upcoming week. So if I hit my goal right before the 4th of July break, I'll do one, and we just celebrate it like that. But we'll see, because that's what we're gonna be doing. Extra long stream here on Twitch Saturday, and then we're gonna do one on Facebook on Sunday. So hopefully we hit the goal. We go from there. So yeah, it is tiring. It is a lot to work. I
It's a
am
lot.
exhausted all the time, but I still love it. Like, that's the thing about it. I'm still like super excited to cut it on and like get to
Right.
work, and I'm just trying to find ways to continue making it get better over time. And like, when you see somebody like T-Pain put up this smoking intro, and I'm like, I don't know how to rap, yo. This isn't gonna work. I'm like, I can't rap my intro. I'm like, I don't
Right.
know what I'm gonna do.
Well, hey.
All right.
You're only in what, year 4 now, right?
Yeah.
So you're 5. You're good. You're man.
This
you
is
be
this is
shooting
my
threes
I-
all day long.
This is
on
my Ben
stream.
Simmons moment. Well, funny thing about
This
that
is your Ben
is
Simmons moment.
Twitch Anniversary 4 is in like less than 2 months.
Well, what do you know? Wow, wait a minute. That means we started streaming. The first time I streamed was also in 2017, which means we started streaming for the first time at the same time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we see who stuck with it and who didn't.
Yeah, my Twitch
Well,
Anniversary
congratulations.
is set for August 14th weekend.
Okay.
Ugh, I don't know. I still got to start planning that now. Like, we've been planning MarcusMania for so long, like doing the movie nights, and we're looking at trying to find different ways to have fun on this stream. So, and incorporate our
Oof.
Discords and all the other networks and everything that we work with. So it's fun. Like,
Yeah, dude. What I need you to do, and this is what I want you to think about over the course of this summer. At some point, you and I need to have a Nintendo stream, because you got the Switch. I
Yeah.
don't know if you got any games for it yet, but do that.
Yeah.
And I think either some Mario Kart or something we should do on stream together.
I'm all for
It
it.
should be a summer.
I'm all for it. I mean,
Or we didn't have to do that. I mean, yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll talk about it offline.
I was about to say,
think we should
what
do
was your other idea? I was hearing that or. I was kind of curious about your or.
I mean, I was like, I have Mario Kart.
Yeah.
You don't both have to have it, but I just want you to have it.
I did Mario
Kart is
Kart
awesome.
for
Or
I think it was
some Mario Maker. I think you and I playing Mario Maker would be a
Oh my god, that'd be a wild
in
one,
like
yeah.
versus mode.
Yeah. I think I did Mario Kart recently on Mark Arcade. And I realized I'm just so trash at some of these games. And I'm like, yo, like I'm running around my little Super Nintendo controller, like, what is going on? I can't drive anywhere. I'm like, God, I was like, driving games are not good for me at all. Like, anytime there's a driving game, like, yo, I'm slow. I'm turning terribly. I'm crashing into walls. It's just a fun experience no matter what. So yeah, I'm definitely down for it, and definitely summer's open. So be able to go outside, so we can definitely make it work.
Yeah. Oh.
Let me know. Name the time, name the place, and figure it out. My Switch is charged up and ready to roll. But I want to thank you again for coming through. And guys, we will take a small break, Reno, while we say goodbye to KyleLiterally. Make sure you got a round of applause for KyleLiterally in the building. Our sports talk. And
a round of applause. I'm gonna pay that round of applause forward to my guy, Marcus Alford.
Thank you.
This is one of my oldest homies. Known you since what, 5th grade?
5th grade.
And it's funny because like you were the quiet kid when you first got to that school.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, who's that weird guy over there? And then all of a sudden, somebody came over and we started talking about wrestling, and it just opened up. And then we've been friends ever since. And we've been through the whole thing together. Yeah. I love you like a play cousin, and you my homie, and you my brother. And
Thanks.
I just wish you nothing but the best all day, every day.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Blessings on blessings on blessings.
Blessings on blessings on blessings. Thank you. Still can't beat me in Street 2, but it's all good.
I'm glad to see that you are still delusional in life. Keep that up, because ignorance is bliss, my friend.
I saw that they were talking about making 2K football again. Just to let you know, there's rumors.
Man, I still listen to that soundtrack quite frequently.
Yeah.
I still think about that game. That game was so far ahead of its time.
Yeah. I played it the other day, and I was like, wow. It's different. But
it's different.
Whew. But thank you again, guys. We'll be right back. We're gonna take a small break while we get prepped for our little Fall Guys situation. But before we get out of here, I gotta do one more sponsorship. Today's game is brought to you by Chork. A little bit of pork, a little bit of chicken. Chork, a helping hand from Mother Nature. Shout out to our sponsors, man. We'll be right back, guys. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here and we're getting ready to start playing some Fall Guys. Hope you guys are ready. Big shout out again to KyleLiterally for coming through and blessing us with all the awesomeness. We're currently at $85. We were talking about the fundraiser that we're going to be doing this year. Well, actually, this week and coming up, we're going to be doing a lot of fundraising and whatnot. And it's for the Lupus Foundation and the Philadelphia Tri-States chapter. I did $200 last year. I upped it to $300. We're going to do a super long stream for them. Hopefully that people will be able to donate. If you cannot donate, I understand. If you want to just share the link to other people, I appreciate that too. Just hit the exclamation point, donate in the chat, and it'll help you post up the link or whatever. So you can definitely donate if you want. Shout out to the people at Facebook for the fundraising situation they have over there, because none of the money goes to me at all. It goes directly to those people. So I have nothing but love and respect for the Lupus Foundation over and the foundation near and dear to my heart. So, yep. We're gonna start with some Sqauds for right now, so I can get ready, and then we'll do some solos and some jump arounds. Again, shout out to KyleLiterally for the resub. 33 months in a row. God damn. Doing a 7-month hot streak. Appreciate him. Shout out to everybody that's watching too. Thank you for coming through. I appreciate y'all. Oh. Whoa. Hey. Ooh. Let's go. Dang. Yeah, buddy. Let's go. I made it. Let's go. Yeah, buddy. Qualified. Let's go. 45 seconds is a long time, yo. Shout out to my team, no. Sorry. Shout out to my team, no. So, I'm never a fan of getting Madden early. I'm probably going to get Madden early because Madden 22's franchise mode is ridiculously awesome, and I'm super pumped up about it. So I can't wait to play it. Like, just off of franchise mode, I'm sold on it. So, I'm hoping I can get this PlayStation 5 ASAP so I can rock out with it. Ooh. Ew! Yes. Oh my god, I'm stuck. Damn it! I knew he was gonna hit me.
offensive game plan. Now, when you do this, you're going to
What
get
up?
a boost to your AI players in certain areas, but you're going to get a nerf in certain areas as well. So if you're focusing on stopping the inside run, you're going to be a little bit more susceptible to getting...
What up? What up? What up? What up? My day's been good. You know. To chill. How's your day going? Ooh. Streaming, if anything. Nothing really set. Yeah, streaming Saturday and Sunday. No plans tonight. Gonna relax. Watch some Life at the Lockup, baby. I almost forgot. Life at the Lockup. Life at the Lockup. What? Smoke a little hookah, listen to some music, chill out for the weekend. You already know, no. Ain't anything else. Tonight, nah, not really. Just gonna chill out. We did a lot of sports talk with Kyle. Got about 2 hours left here, and then spend the rest of the night just relaxing. So Fall Guys is a lot easier to relax on a day like this because I don't have to really work my brain as much. Not focusing my eyes as much. Still getting like a bunch of messages and stuff here and there, so I don't want to be middle of a game playing something else shooting wise and not focused. Ah, you bums. You bums. Thank you. Wait, hold on. Let me read that in a second. Wait. Crap.
No!
You lost weight too. I have not lost weight. I have not lost any weight. Still fat. Still fat. Yes. I get it. Been back for a long time. Yikes. Sorry to hear that. Sorry, guys. Oh no, no, no! Woo! Ooh. Whoa! The longest 9 seconds of my life. Okay. I hope you get better soon. Oh. What? How? Trying to grab me, you bum! What? No! Give me 1 sec, yeah. Take care of the dog. What's up, baby? doing too much there. Oh, thank you. Oh my god. Well, I jumped. What are you doing? Oh, my team's gonna be thinking I'm a loser. What? Oh my god, are you serious? Wow, what ugly luck is this? Unbelievable. No lie, I cannot wait for Love After Lockup. It's one of my, like, you know, sideline joys. There's no movie tonight in Discord, but if I wake up early enough tomorrow, maybe I'll open it up and do some Pokemon in the morning before I start streaming. We'll see. I'm really liking what I can do over on Discord with the videos and stuff like that, so it's definitely a possibility to work with it. Oh my god, how did I They lost one guy. No! I hate this level so much. Like, this is one of the worst levels for me ever. I'll be shocked if we qualify. This man's the only one left. You got it, bro. Take your time, no rush. Oh, you gonna make it. Let's go. He's our saving grace. I finished it once. Yep, good for you, buddy. Oh, we qualify? I don't know. I can't stand this. I can't stand that level. It's been annoying me a little bit more, but I still love this one. Can't get caught in that early jump. What? How are we already, like, how? I was gonna say, I'm like, yeah, it's impossible for us to be already there. Give me 1 second. Gotta prep the old hookah. Trying to get comfortable. Yo, come here, chill. Get aluminum foil too. Motherfucker. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna crown this champion and we're gonna get out of here. I'll say my goodbyes in a little bit. This episode will be available on YouTube and HeelMarcus.com within the hour, baby. And don't forget, we are live tomorrow. Normally we don't do weekend streams, but we're gonna do a long weekend stream because we're doing a fundraiser for this here on Twitch, and then we're on Facebook tomorrow. So make sure you don't forget that. Tomorrow we're live on Facebook for the first time in a really, 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 really long time. So we'll be definitely over there. So as soon as we crown a champion, we are out, baby. All right, so we have crowned a champion. Congrats to those guys. Like I said, we'll be back tomorrow. I'm not exactly sure what time. I know it's going to be sometime later in the day. It's going to be probably sometime afternoon, and we're gonna live stream for a couple of hours. We're gonna hang out, play some games, shoot the breeze, have fun, all that good stuff. Thank you everybody to come through. Shout out to KyleLiterally, shout out to Queen. Thanks again to Kyle for resubbing. I appreciate it. Shout out to everybody that's been here dealing with me for the last couple of years. I had much love and support and much appreciation. I can't thank you guys enough. You guys are amazing. We are back here tomorrow, and that is it for us, baby. My birthday. We're celebrating my birthday all weekend long. Like I said, yo, we're back here on Twitch tomorrow. We're on Facebook on Sunday. So come through, hang out with us, talk some trash, and share the donation link if you can. Much love, man. I am out of here. I will see y'all tomorrow. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay safe. Spread love when you can. And I will see you tomorrow, baby. Make sure you delete that Lyft app. Don't rock with Lyft, baby. Don't rock with Lyft no more. Hey.